Today's page builders go to great lengths to accommodate all kinds of users. But when you develop for a client and you give the client the page building software to use, the thing is, are they going to learn it? There's different types of clients for different types of page builders. And today we're going to discuss that in this video. Like or subscribe below. Let's get right at it. Okay, so we're starting off with, you've got a new client. You're starting from scratch. We're going to show Divi first. Let's use the Divi builder. And we're on localhost right now. We're waiting for the dial-up. There we go. All right, we're going to build from scratch today. We've got a client that wants to use, start off from scratch, get a little creative exercise going. So here we are. Great prompt from Divi. Gives us a column structure right off the bat. That's pretty awesome. Let's just go for a single column. I always like to start off with a good text demo. Let's do that real quick. There we go. So now we've got a small text block, and this little guy pops up pretty neat. This is from my last session. Sometimes this will pop up, sometimes it won't. But anyway, if we were to explain to a client that this is how you get to this point, to hover over it, get right here, this is a little bit tricky. I could click inside here, and it's not really going to do anything. You know, you contrast this with Elementor, which we'll get to in a moment. That's not really a great user experience. I'm going to have to click here to pick that up, to get in that, to dig in deeper. And here we are. So I want to bring in some lorem ipsum just so we can fully clog up our spell checker and everything else, but to demonstrate a little bit more text layout. You know, great thing about Divi right off the bat is, close this box. Let's just do this. We can go in here and start editing. I mean, Elementor allows for this, but it's a little bit more rusty. But here we got all kinds of editing options we can go with. We got a convenient pop-up. We can also expand this too. Just clicking here, we get a few more options as well. But you know, just the simple fact of changing color in Divi, that's kind of something that, you know, if you're starting off and you want to change the color of text to emphasize it or bring it out or whatever, that's a pretty big deal. And you know, one of the contrasting things between Divi and Elementor is, you know, Divi requires a lot more muscle memory, where you're building practice, and then you start to really get that power, and you can fly through producing a page. So right off the bat, I'm going to say that for the client that is okay with building a page on the fly and has got some good muscle memory, Divi is a great page builder candidate. But let's dig in a little further here. Let's say we want to do a little bit more. We want to do some more in-depth formatting. We want more access. And here's this little thing now to understand what's got to happen. We click back here. Okay, now this is kind of a user experience thing where we want to understand this is how we access our settings. This is a big contrast to Elementor, and I just pull up Elementor. We're going to start off from scratch here, edit with Elementor, and where Elementor is you know, we've got access to our tools right over here. We're going to let's add some column structure again. Let's bring in some text. Gonna have to use a little muscle memory up there to understand that. Let's bring in some text right here. There we go. Okay, so now we've got some text. We're going to paste in that lorem ipsum again and fully clog up our screen and our spell checker and so forth. So let's take a look at this now. We get out of here. This control system is always up, and if we added say an image or something, let's add an image below there. And we'll get to images a little bit more, and let's just drop an image into there. Okay, so now we got two things. Remember back in Divi, we closed this. We're just going to stick with this right now, and we want to add an image below that. So we're going to put an image there, and we'll type in image. And you know, we're talking about exercising a little bit of muscle memory. So the in-depth functionality box, the settings box, is appearing whenever we insert something new. Well, let's go back over to here now. I want to work inside the text box. Well, where's my control for the text box? And this is where, okay, got to get back out of here. Clicking here doesn't bring that up. Again, not deer in the headlights necessarily, but some way of, okay, how are we going to get back into that? We got to click outside of it just to click on the settings box to get there. Okay, now we go back to Elementor, and this is really where, for your newer clients, they're not comfortable with building things on the fly and navigating around a page. This is really where Elementor shines. And it is, it shines greatly. Nice adverb there. It shines because when it comes to inserting other things on the page, I just did this. All I got to do is click on over here. And now I'm back in the text. I can dig into that if I want. Where Divi, as you saw, and we're on the Elementor screen, Divi allows us to do editing right here. And so does Elementor to some degree. You can do various things here. You're not going to get your color. You're going to have some other issues. So, you don't have that full screen edit in front of you unless you're going to go over to here and kind of blow things up a little bit. And Elementor gets this. This is a toolbar toggle where you can get a little more functionality. But when you go over to full screen, now you're getting into that full screen area where, Divi was excelling. And that's something that, where is your client at? And if you're talking about a team of people that you've developed for, where there's advanced users, then Divi seems to be more natural. And definitely going to discuss that in another video as well. But when it comes to that precious muscle memory that you need in Divi, you don't need that for Elementor. But we're going to get back here. This is one of those things where what's going to happen is, and strangely enough, this has happened where it's going to be you deliver a project on a Friday, some weird reason you check your voicemail on a Sunday night, and your client is saying, hey, the CEO wants us to launch a blog story. He's seen the rough draft, wants a caption under his photo. And you've built this out in Divi, and you think, well, caption under a photo, obviously you insert an image, you put a caption underneath it. But this is where Divi drops the ball. In other words, Divi's doing a great job of roping the bull by the horns. The only problem is this particular bull doesn't have any horns. And you go back into your mindset of, okay, we've laid this all out in Divi. The client seemed to be advanced enough or kind of felt comfortable with the Divi user interface initially. So you built it out in Divi. The client's using Divi. Okay, let's dig into this. I've got a spot where I want to put this image here. I've got the image. I want to put a caption underneath it. Now, this is something as simple as putting a caption is, okay, I'm looking for the caption section here. An admin label, that's not the same thing at all. The background, no. None of this remotely applies. There is no place for a caption here. So we go into design, alignment, kind of there, maybe sizing. Long story short, there is no caption here. There is nothing to do with caption here. Advanced tab, nothing to do with caption. So you say, okay, where is the caption? We could create another text box underneath with, it would just totally do overkill. Let's put in text here, put that there. So now we've got a text. We can kind of erase some of the top margin to go above that. Let's see, I think that's spacing, sizing, heading text. We can erase some of that margin where we'll take this out and we'll just shrink this up here. So we're bringing this up closer to that image, and there we go. So that's one way of doing it. And, you know, this is not something that I advise, but it will work. You know, this is, you're doing a little bit more advanced work. You're asking a newer client to do advanced styling, and that's okay. We've got a solution there. And the thing is, that's the handy workaround. That's where we can go into this far more deeper, because to really bring in a caption with Divi, you need to go back into the image itself to pull out something as simple as here. Let's go back to Biscuit Caption. And guess what? We're going to upload this image. And this is not going to work still. So we've also got an issue now. There's no easy styling of this thing either. We're centering this just about completely out of the question. I mean, our spacing our sizing is not going to work. Our location, our positioning, module alignment, we could try that. It still doesn't center. So we've got numerous things that are going on here. We did a hack to get something as simple as this here. We're going to put that in, and we're going to say CEO, Mr. Biscuit. And we might as well center that. I mean, oh, okay, that's not going to work. Well, we wanted to center that and put this image on top. Well, you know, now we've got we're getting ourselves into trouble here, because if we keep this over on the left side, it's going to honk way, way, way over, as can be seen here. This is unacceptable. It would work in a pinch. So what gives? I mean, we have a breakdown of a user experience on something as basic as a photo caption. New client, very, very basic, simple request from somebody up the ladder. Now what do we do? Well, the problem is that this doesn't work at all, because you're going to be styling numerous things. They're going to be independent of each other. You're going to have to go back and forth, when it all pertains to getting back to this very image back in the media gallery. It is something entirely different from even this setup, because we have to stretch way out of a photo insert at the very basic level. And that is where all this comes back to haunt the developer who's put this together in Divi. And now, okay, what other surprises are there that are basic and that are expected by their clients on a regular basis? Okay, the problem is that we have to essentially start over. I would start over, and I would say, oh, okay, let's try that again. Let's delete this. Let's put something back in here. Let's get rid of this one too. And I'm going to skip that process entirely. I'm going to insert this image via a text box. I'm going to put a new row. I'm going to type in text. I'm going to erase this text. Next, I'm going to put something really bold. I'm going to add media. And I'm going to go back to the Biscuit. I'm going to look at that Biscuit caption, and I'm going to say, okay, caption. All right, let's try this. Now, select that. Okay, here we got the startup. That's not going to go live here. It's going to be live over in the settings box. And speaking of, you know, you could, like launching PowerPoint. I had an uncle who started launching PowerPoint one time. Actually went in for lower lumbar surgery on his back. He was like 6 weeks into therapy, physical therapy, before PowerPoint actually launched. I know, long story, I digress. But we've got this issue. We're going to click here, and now it's going to appear. Oh, and there's that caption. We're going to get back to Elementor. Elementor's got a very elementary approach to this, pardon the pun. This is gorgeous here. But how do I style this now? It's like, okay, do I style that up here? Link, add new column, design, sizing, spacing. No, I'm going to go up to sizing maybe. No, it's not good. Oh, let's row alignment. Oh, okay, let's try that. That doesn't work either. Here's that setting thing all over again. I've got to go back into the photo media gallery and bring this thing back in as a whole different thing. And guess what? I've got to add media all over again, because guess what? This isn't going to work. My alignment is align none. I got to delete this whole thing. I've got to go back here, click this, and I've got to scroll down to here and bring in some extra stuff. I got to do alignment of center, and hopefully my image size is correct there. Now I select that. It doesn't appear here. It's appearing over here. Let's click that, and we have a centered image with a centered caption. Conversely, we go over to Elementor. We get out of full screen mode. We have an image here. Click here. We go into our toolbox. We bring in this photo here, which is bicycle, caption, bicycling in nature. We've got an option. We're going to insert that. Do we want to bring in the caption that's from the media gallery? Or do we want to type in our very own caption, such as our very own caption? Very basic request. Very basic. And this is part of the ongoing discussion where Divi, and I love Divi, don't get me wrong, Divi has got power users in mind, but when it comes to starting off, there's a bit of a bumpy ride for the newbies and the people who don't have much exposure to page builders. That's why in other videos, we're going to definitely talk more about that. So that wraps up today's lesson on this. I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Go ahead and punch that subscribe button, like this video, ring that bell. I want to see you next time. Thanks again.